If the internet ever goes out, we're all screwed. Being a part of the last generation to remember what life was like before the internet and cell phone technology makes me nostalgic. But to be honest, lots of crap makes you nostalgic. It's part of the reason I think my generation is so enamored with our childhood and nostalgia. If you haven't caught on by now, I have a propensity for all things 90s, and a lot of my videos will ultimately circle back to the 90s and pop culture. But to those of you born around the year 2000 or afterwards, you'll never know what life was like without the internet constantly at your fingertips. And because you don't know any differently, I'm sure that seems like an awesome thing.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool with the light of the team.
The internet and cell phones have simplified our lives in ways that you couldn't imagine. Before cell phones and the internet, if you wanted to talk to somebody, you had two options. Number one, you could write a note to someone and then pass it to them between classes, or if you were bold enough, you could pass it during class. Or two, you could call them on their home phone.
Hello?
Calling a girl on the phone was the scariest thing in the world, bro. And it was even scarier if her dad picked up the phone first, kid. Oh, please, like you called any girls on the phone. Hey, I got a few numbers from girls. I mean, they weren't complete numbers, but I got a few. And if you didn't have a cordless phone, then you were tethered to the telephone, which was typically in like your living room or your kitchen, which meant no privacy. That's right, bro. No sweet talking to ladies or anything like that without mom and dad listening in. Or God forbid you have an annoying sibling listening into your conversation. Some rich kids in the 90s had their own phones, and if they were really lucky, had their own telephone line. But for most of us peasants, we were stuck with a corded telephone. Now, with our phones constantly with us, not only are we always reachable, but we're perpetually distracted. The world is literally at your fingertips with a smartphone and the internet. It's the cure for boredom. You can scroll through Facebook or look up information on pretty much anything and everything. Before the internet, looking up information was a pain in the butt. I used to ask my parents questions about school, history, or spelling, but I was always met with the same response. What the hell do I look like, an encyclopedia? Look it up for yourself. With Google, I can find all the answers to life's many questions.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, no, come on in. Today is Jackson Pollock's birthday, so we're celebrating his particular style of painting.
Why farts smell?
One of the most important painters of all time, and you want to know why farts smell, so there you go.
And find hundreds of thousands, if not millions of search results in less than a second. Before Google or Ask Jeeves, or for you older folks out there, Alta Vista, we had to use what was known as a World Book Encyclopedia.
Is it like a lady parts thing?
We'll look it up in the World Book.
I think everyone had at least a few World Books, but most of them were from the 70s, so they were out of date. And if you didn't have a complete set, then you had to go to the library. And good luck finding anything in that place, bro. To this day, I still avoid the library like a plague. You don't even know where the library is. And it's a good thing too, bro, because I don't plan on going there anyway. The internet and smartphones have simplified our lives beyond measure, and we sometimes overlook the convenience. Before the internet, if you wanted to go someplace new, you had to write down the directions or humble yourself and ask somebody for directions. There was no Google Maps or GPS to guide your way and tell you exactly where to go.
Where do you go? You follow the one road you're on to me. Where do you, okay ma'am, you're gonna go to the Texaco station, take a right, go 5.5 miles southeast, you're gonna see a guy in a yellow poncho. His name is Hank, he'll take you to the Whopper layer. That's where you go.
And do you realize how many plot lines in movies and TV could have been solved with the internet or something as simple as a text message? Remember the whole Rachel Ross dilemma on Friends?
You slept with someone else?
We were on a break.
Of course you do, but do you realize a simple text message or hell, even an email could have saved them a whole lot of heartache? The only reason Rachel couldn't get in contact with Ross is because he called her from a payphone. You know, those giant glass cases that had a phone in them that you had to pay to use? After Ross heard Rachel's coworker Mark in the background, he hung up the phone and there was no real way for Rachel to call him back. Thus, the famous plot and line was born.
We were on a break! Oh my God, if you say that one more time, I'm gonna break up with you.
Or what about the movie Can't Hardly Wait? You know the one, bro, where Mr. Strawberry Pop-Tart goes after Jennifer Love Huge Tits? In Can't Hardly Wait, hopeless romantic Preston attempts to give the love of his life, Amanda, a poem or letter or something expressing his undying love and their shared interest of strawberry Pop-Tarts. This whole plot line could have been solved with a text message or a Facebook message or even an email. But considering this was 1998 and email wasn't that prevalent and Facebook had yet to be invented, a handwritten sentiment was more accessible and more personal for this Casanova. The internet and smartphones have simplified our lives in terms of convenience, but they've also complicated our lives as we strive to balance life with technology. Politics and religion was something that you never talked about unless you were really close or maybe family. But nowadays, everyone and their mother has an opinion about politics, and they're more than willing to share that with you on Facebook. Like anyone gives a crap. Before the internet, you had to look up movie times in the newspaper. If there was a song you really liked, you couldn't just ask Siri to play it for you or look it up on YouTube or Spotify. You had to call up the radio station and request the song. And then you had to wait to hear it. And forget about watching whatever you wanted, whenever you want on Netflix. You had to grab a copy of the TV guide and then watch your favorite show whenever it aired. Spoilers were less common because, hey, no Facebook or random jerks on the internet ruining everything for you. And the fear of missing out, or FOMO, wasn't a thing. Hey bro, ain't nothing wrong with FOMOs, okay? Everybody deserves love, you know? Jeremy, never mind. Technology creates a sense of responsibility. Today, a larger number of people have mobile phones than those who have access to running water or something as simple as a toilet. If you're fortunate enough to have running water, access to the internet, or own a smartphone, consider donating to those in need via an organization like LifeWater. LifeWater has been helping vulnerable children and families in less developed countries for over 50 years. You can find out more at lifewater.org. Which brings us to the end of the episode and my favorite portion of the video, Irma's crapometer. How much of a crap should you really give about today's episode? Today's episode, Dirty Squirts, 3 baby Ruths in the pool. The internet and cell phones have improved our lives for the most part. Just make sure you can balance your life with and without technology. And God forbid anything ever happened to the internet or cell phone towers, because if that's the case, we're all screwed. You know, except for your crazy neighbor who's been stocking up on military supplies and building a bunker in his backyard. Hopefully I can sweet talk him with my sexy voice and he'll save me. Jeremy will have to fend for himself. That does it for today's episode, dudes. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to show your support and hit that like button. Until next time, peace out, what it do.